how to make this year your best year ever. Stay tuned. Hey, this is Damon Cart from NLP Gym, bringing you cutting-edge Neuro Linguistic Programming tools and techniques to help you create the life that you desire. So if that sounds good, please click subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get these videos on a regular basis. There are a lot of ways to really make your life a lot better. I'm going to share with you a few of them here, and you can put these to use right away and apply it to your goals and what it is you want to create for yourself in the year 2019. And of course, you don't have to only do it for 2019. You can use the same method over and over and over. So here it is basically. When we see someone who has something we want, we feel oftentimes a little bit of sting that we would call envy or jealousy. But when it happens to us, we don't like to call it that. We don't like to think of anyone as being better than us or having something that we want in the sense of envy or jealousy. Those are usually thought of as really nasty words, and we don't want to feel that way either. It usually doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel any better when the person is a friend of ours. In fact, it usually feels worse because we think, who are they to have that? Or they're not better than me. I know who they are. They're a friend of mine. They're normal people. So when you see someone and they have a nice car that you really want, or they have a beautiful girlfriend that you would love to have yourself, admit to yourself that you feel a little bit of a sting from that. For me, it was travel. Whenever I would hear friends of mine talking about countries they had gone to and interesting cultures that they had got to experience and romantic adventures and all the food that they tried, I would start to get really envious about this, and it would sting a little bit. And when that happens, because we don't want to admit to ourselves that we're jealous of anyone else or we're envious of anyone else and that nobody else is better than me, we're all the same, we're all equal. What we often do is we try to make excuses as to why we don't have it and why they have it, whatever it is that we want. So we might say things like, well, they were just born better looking than me, or they were born into money, or they got some special break, some special luck that I don't have and that they do, and that's why they have it and I don't. And this is how we often try to distract ourselves from that jealousy or that envy. We try to push it aside by making some excuse. Or maybe we try to convince ourselves that we don't actually want whatever it is that we're jealous of or that we're envious of. Well, I don't really want that. Or if I could go and get that, but if I did, then my family life would suffer, or there would be all these other bad things that would happen. So put all that aside. The best thing you can do, if you really want to take your life to the next level, is accept this feeling, as bad as it might feel. Accept it and be honest with yourself and acknowledge that you want this thing or person, if it's a girlfriend or a boyfriend, that you want what this person has. It is extremely freeing to just admit that to yourself. Start there. So just admit it to yourself. I would even write it down. And if you're not in that situation right now, you might be thinking, okay, well, next time I'm in that situation, I'll remember to write it down. You probably won't. What you should do then is think back over this last year. When did this happen to you? It's easier to remember than you think. I can think back to years and years ago, seeing people with something or having something that I wanted and feeling that envy. So it should be no difficult task to think back in the past year, certain situations you were in, and you felt that envy, you felt that jealousy. Go back over the past year and then write those times down when that happened. Now, in some cases, it might be true. In some cases, you don't really want whatever it was you felt envious about or jealous about. It was just temporary. It might have been a very childish part of you, age regressed part of you that wanted that same thing. And so there was just that initial knee-jerk reaction of, oh, I want that and they don't deserve that, or something along those lines. And then when you really explore it, you realize, no, I really don't want that. That can happen. But I would still say that there's probably still something there to explore. What was it that made you feel that way? Get in touch with that feeling. So whether you really don't want that anymore or you really do want whatever it was, go back to the feeling. The feeling is going to hold the key to this. So go back to that feeling and get in touch with whatever it is that you want and go deeper with it. What were you projecting onto that person when you saw something that you wanted that they have? What was the value of that thing? So if it, say that it was a beautiful woman that your friend just started dating and you felt that jealousy, what value did you project onto that woman that your friend has that you don't have? If it was a nice car, or for me in my case it was about travel, the value that I projected onto my friends who were traveling when I wasn't was that they were living a very interesting life. They were living a fulfilling life of adventure and fun that I wanted to. And that's what I projected onto that. So get in touch with those values. So in my case, fun, adventure, living life to the fullest, living my potential. So those were the values I was projecting onto it. Now start to think of how would you go about doing that? It's closer than you think, it's easier than you think. I was just talking to a friend of mine who I haven't talked to since high school, and he was basically telling me all about his life. We were texting back and forth. We had connected on Facebook, and I was getting him up to date on my life. And after a while he said, and I was only talking about what was going on in the past year of my life, and he said, wow, it sounds like you could write a book from that stuff. And it was interesting because I didn't think about it that way. I live a fulfilling life that's fulfilling for me. I don't know if it's necessarily fulfilling for anyone else. But I told him, I said, if you want these things, they're really a lot closer than you think. We have a tendency to think that the things that we want are so far away. Get in touch with those values that you project on the person or the thing that you saw the person with that made you envy that. And start to really get realistic about what it would really take to get the same thing. And I assure you that in most cases, it's a lot easier than you think to get that. So as far as travel goes, I learned about Google Flights and how easy it is to look at a calendar and see all the numbers of when the flights go down so that I can buy an inexpensive ticket. I can also travel to countries where their economies are not quite so developed. So my dollar goes a lot further. So there's all these easy ways to go about it. There's a lot easier than what you would think. Because a lot of us, the two main excuses we have is, I don't have the time and I don't have the money. And that's just not true. In most cases, you can find the money or you can make the extra money, and you can certainly find the time. So after you know what it is that you want, you know the values that you were projecting, you can take those values and say to yourself, what do I need to do? How do I know when I'm experiencing those values? So now we're looking at criteria. So what does it take for me to experience fun and adventure and have the experience of living my life to the fullest? Well, I know that even just a road trip feels fun and adventurous to me, so I can take a road trip. It's not expensive, doesn't take a lot of time. If that's all I can do, and then maybe I can build up to taking a bigger trip. By now I'm taking a lot bigger trips because I see how easy and possible it is to do. So get in touch with the values, get in touch with what it takes for you to experience those values, and this will start to become a lot more realistic and a lot easier to attain. And then at that point, it's just a matter of taking action. And of course, you have to take action. You can't just sit there and say, well, I know what it is, I know what the value is, and I got it all up here. It doesn't just suddenly happen. You have to take action and start doing something, or at least moving in the direction of what it is you want. Now, the last piece to this, which is the most important, maybe it's not the most important, it's extremely important, and that is, instead of that feeling of envy or jealousy, which, by the way, don't judge it when it happens, just accept it. Acknowledge that it's happening. Don't try to push it away. And once you do that, then you can change it. And what you want to do is you want to change that feeling to being happy for that person. Be happy for that person, even if you, somewhere deep inside, think that they do not deserve it. This will change everything when you can be happy for someone else for what it is they have, even if you started out being envious and jealous, or even feeling like they don't deserve it. This is an attitude adjustment. Change your attitude. Change your attitude toward, I'm happy for this person. It might not come right away, but work on it and say to yourself, what would it be like if I was happy for this person for having something that I want? Really start to get into that frequency. Vibrate in that same frequency almost as if you already have it too. You're so happy for this person having what it is that you want that you can almost feel like you're experiencing having it as well. This will change everything for you. People talk about the law of attraction and The Secret. This is definitely in line with that. I've also had plenty of criticisms of how The Secret and the law of attraction is marketed, but it is a real thing. There is something to it, and this is one of the ways that you can really connect with that. So be happy for the person. Vibrate on that frequency of being happy for that person for what they have. And I guarantee you, things will start to change for you right away. Check out my website, nlp-gym.com. There you will find some free NLP training and some free hypnotic inductions that you can download directly to your phone, your tablet, or your laptop and get started right away. Check out NLP Gym on Facebook as well if you'd like real-time updates on whatever it is that I'm up to, new trainings that I'm putting out there, or talks that I might be giving. Also, I have a private Facebook group anyone can join, and I also go live there to give more exclusive videos and other exclusive content. Last but not least, if you like this video, please click like right down here, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do that now by hitting the subscribe button, and also click the bell so that you get notified when I put new videos out. Take care and crush it in 2019.